Hello, people. Oh, hello, people. This is the second episode of Smut and Porn, where there's a porn writer and a porn reader discussing subjects about how to publish and what's good about porn. Yeah, so my name is Lucie, and I'm with Kris Ripper.
Hi.
Hi. Kris Ripper is a porn writer, and we can find your stuff where?
Oh, that would have been good to have some kind of a thing memorized for this. KrisRipper.com, and that'll have links to everywhere else.
Yep. Just go to his site, and all the books are there. So today the subject will be censorship. I've encountered some people recently and had some discussions about censorship. What is considered, how do you say that, what is considered bad subjects or illegal subjects for some platforms, some ebook platforms. So first, Kris, what are the subjects you can't write about when you decide to write a book? What do you know will be automatically censored?
Well, I would say that if you're going to write incest, pseudo-incest, bestiality, dubious consent, or non-consent, then you're a lot more careful about how you market and cover and title that book if you want to sell it on the major platforms.
Okay, so you can cover those subjects? Is it something that readers will complain about, or is there a way for them to know that's what it's going to be about?
Well, that's kind of been the interesting evolution of how the major retailers are approaching this. So Amazon is sort of famous for having invisible guidelines for a lot of this stuff. Incest is a no-go. Bestiality might be, but like pseudo-incest or what do they call it now where a character is barely legal, which means legal but almost not legal?
Yeah, because what is barely legal? It is or it is not? Is it some kind of gray line they're trying to impose, or
Right.
how can somebody be barely legal?
I know. Like, I guess if the story starts on someone's 18th birthday in the States, which of course, legal of course is not a universal attribute, so then you
Okay.
get into a regional thing as well. But I think that what we're seeing definitely is maybe people are complaining more. The retailers are definitely seeming more skittish about these kinds of subjects.
Oh, and isn't our money not good enough if you
Well,
want to buy the?
I think that they're more worried about losing the money of the people who are complaining. So, I mean, I'm going to assume that that is the nature of some complaints. I'm not going to shop here anymore if you continue to carry, my stepdaughter in a nice skirt just home from public school. Like whatever it is. I
Okay,
suspect that's
and my daddy is the best daddy and thing. Okay, I see. But what's up? I don't get it. If those people don't want to read this kind of stuff, why are they looking for it?
Yeah, well, I think that it's one, I think, is expectation. Part of the problem with forcing writers and publishers to kind of get around the regulations and try to avoid censorship is that people are using less blunt language. So it certainly would be possible for a reader to end up reading something they
Oh,
were not really interested in reading because they missed a euphemism. Uh, So I can see it on that level. Why you don't just, you know, if you're on Amazon, it's easy. You just get a refund. So I don't know why anyone would take it beyond that to whine about it, but people certainly do, and I think a lot of people feel a responsibility to alert Amazon that scary things are happening.
So what you're telling me, they have more chance on falling unprepared, on illegal, censored stuff because of this harsh line that like Amazon has. Because if authors could publicize that's what this is, they wouldn't inadvertently download stuff like that.
Right. It would be better for readers because they could choose, they could go in an informed way, knowing what they were about to read. They could seek out the things that they want to read, even if they're taboo, heaven forbid. And certainly better for writers because they wouldn't have to do this tap dance around. You know, it is sort of common wisdom in the erotica world that you don't publish to Amazon on weekends because you are more likely to get hung up on someone deciding your content is objectionable. So, like, I don't know what that means.
I heard that somewhere. Somebody told me that. If you, oh my, that's why. I didn't get it. I was, why are the weekends so bad to publish erotica? They should be good because people read during the weekend.
They certainly do. So I think that the more tap dancing that authors have to put into it, publishers have to put into it, definitely doesn't improve the situation. I would love to see another vendor come up who made that their selling point, that you can search by those taboo categories, but it would be very, very difficult. You would get people coming after you. The protect the children angle is often used, which I find ludicrous because I hope we all know that for free you can find loads of horrifying porn on the internet, right?
Yes.
Like, I certainly didn't need a credit card to ever read pornography, so I think that argument just kind of makes me laugh, like, oh, I don't know. I found a lot of porn when I was a kid. I don't know.
I never really had a problem to find porn when I was a kid.
And you can find, you can find stuff, I can find stuff that, like, is too squicky for me, and I have a pretty high tolerance. So I definitely think it's nice if the people, you know, writing and editing and putting time and effort into producing those books professionally could make a little money off of them and bond with readers without having to jump through all these hoops. Because no one is getting hurt, let's be clear. This is not exploitation. There are no actual children, you know, being harmed. Yes. Like, it's the written word, so.
So my question will be, if it's so tough to get erotica, taboo erotica published, why do writers do it? I know. I'm just the devil's advocate. Because I love taboo erotica, taboo porn. So why do writers will do it if they know they will be censored?
Well, I think the bigger question is, will writers continue writing and professionally producing taboo erotica if they know it will be censored? Right now, I think that to a certain degree, some people write what they are pulled, and the compulsion they have to write is to write whatever. Twincest, you know, like, that's a clear compulsion for some people. They have to write that romance story. So I think that whether or not, you know, there are people who leave erotica to write romance because it's less stringently enforced into certain categories, which is crazy because the old school romance novels were always sort of dubious consent as far as I was concerned. Yes. Like, you always hit that part where the heroine said, "No, don't ravish me."
Yes.
That was the part where I was like, oh, another one. and it was not what I wanted to read. So I definitely think that it will influence what people write. Certainly it's going to influence what people write under their own name. Like you will see people who get a taboo pen name and will only write those stories under that name, which I think is sad. I think it'd be nicer if everyone who wanted to could use their name to write whatever they wanted to write. But you can't.
What do you think is the attraction to taboo stories? Are we just pervs, or do we need more adrenaline, or what do you think is so fascinating? I'm a fan of tentacle porn. Some people will call it bestiality, but the main difference to me is in the fact that the bees usually do the ravishing. So to me, it's not really bestiality. It's not an animal that's being abused.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to. You and I were both raised Catholic, and I think that might, we might be extra pervy because we were raised within the limitations of behavior and cultural norms that made it so that there were a lot of things that were wrong, and anything that is wrong, of course, is extra attractive. I guess I would have to talk to more people who had been raised in different ways to know if, I mean, some of it is cultural, some of it is the things that you definitely, the obscenities in a culture will, of course, be also the turn-ons. So, I don't know, but we have it, and we should use it. I mean,
yes, yes.
This is not, I believe in the transformative power of this stuff. Read what you want to read. It will make you a better person most of the time.
Yes. And okay, I'm all over the place because I have so many questions about this subject. So why some people feel they have to protect us against that kind of reading of information or influence?
Well, I guess I'd question the premise. I think that a lot of people will say that people need to be protected from things when what is really happening is those things are just personally either very distasteful or very arousing.
Okay. That's my point of view too, because what does it matter to them? Okay, so it's okay. I see. Yeah. If it's disgusting to them, so it must not be out there. Is it temptation?
I think it is. I think some of it is temptation. I think some of it is. I think there are people who believe that the existence of works like this literally lead to the behaviors portrayed within them. So I don't know. I guess it's hard for me to kind of wrap my head around the censorship of words. It's a little bit easier on the visual side when people say stuff like that, because that actually could make sense. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not an expert. And I don't watch porn because I don't care. But definitely on the words, on the reading side, I don't know, man, because words really don't hurt. And you can read books around small children, and they will not know what is happening in them. It's not. There's no protection argument there to me. But
yeah,
people will get their panties in a twist, if you will.
and okay, I'm Canadian, you're American. The funniest thing is when we get TV from the US and with all the swear words and language and everything, bleep, bleep, because we don't censor movies or TV or after like.
You're just not protecting the children there in Canada, Lucie.
Uh,
Protect
no,
children. Bad word.
there will be restrictions because something with strong language or violence can be shown before like 9 in the evening. But yeah, we all know that kids won't go to bed.
I was gonna say, I mean, those kinds of restrictions really had absolutely no effect on my early life at all. So I don't know. I don't know if there's some kid somewhere who literally like went to bed before Lane was on TV, but maybe.
I think it's a difference. We want to protect our kids, but we know that the word is the word. So you know, it's not. Censor is a bizarre thing. It's supposed to protect, but in a sense, it attracts so much. I think it has the reverse effect it's supposed to have.
Definitely, and I think Brad Vance does that beautifully. If you pick up any of Brad Vance's books in other places, like he brands the shit out of them with like censored on Amazon, not allowed on Amazon, and that's genius.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Playing the game in reverse in order to widen distribution.
It works. It works.
Yeah, no, yeah, because when you say censored on Amazon, I'm going to click on that link. I don't know what that is.
and
good.
And the story that was censored on Amazon was censored because only of the title. Because there's nothing that needed censorship inside. Okay, it's porn. Okay, we know it's porn, but there was no non-consensual. There was no. The guy in the story pays to get abused. So, you know, it's not rape. It's not non-consensual, even if it's like a bit violent. But he asked for it. So those stories were censored because of the title.
Right.
So it's silly.
It is. Yeah.
And we talk. I chatted with Brad last week, and those are some of his best-selling stories now. Because he can say they were banned on Amazon.
And maybe, I mean, I almost think that's what we need. What we need is a banned on Amazon storefront somewhere. Like, everything you read here was banned on Amazon, so you know it's got to be interesting.
Is there something like that in the works?
I don't know that there is. I know Selena Kitt had a website she was working on called Exotica, maybe? Exotica? But it hasn't been updated in a while. So it would be nice to see something pop up that would, you know, I mean, I guess I'd say that as a reader because I don't think I write anything right now that is currently being banned. Maybe next week, but not right now. But as a reader, it would be nice to know where to shop, where you don't have to figure out all the funny, like, language beneath the language beneath the language that will give you the books that you want to read.
But Amazon is very confusing about its guidelines. They say what's censored is what you would expect. Aren't they opening the door to censor more?
Oh, definitely, and I think we've seen that over the last couple of years. Every new wave of retailers yanking titles seems to be about something slightly different. I mean, you know, 50 Shades of Grey is widely known to be kind of a book about a stalker who does BDSM badly.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are elements of that I actually think, if you're resonating with this story and you really want to meet a guy who's going to stalk you and then introduce you to a kinky lifestyle that sucks, like, that's really kind of dangerous. That could be dangerous. Not that I'm saying we should censor that book. I'm not. I'm just saying that, like, the elements that I think could potentially, like, influence people's universe are not tentacle porn. I'm really not worried about the tentacle porn readers. I don't think that they're like, I need an octopus. Like, that's not.
And that's a shame. Okay, we could talk about 50 Shades of Grey for a whole hour, but
I can't.
I won't because I know. I haven't read it. I'm not going to watch the movie. Because to me that's abuse, and that shows a side of BDSM that's so not true and confuses people. And we had people die in Quebec from things that went bad because people didn't know what they were doing.
And again, I don't think that's not a protection argument to me. Like, if you read 50 Shades and you take that as a goddamn BDSM manual, you are an idiot. I'm not saying you're I'm saying you're a fucking fool. So I think that people should probably do independent research before trying anything they read in any book.
But you said some people are idiots because some people took that really as a manual. Yeah. I talked to a lady last week when I work, and she was, oh my God, 50 Shades of Grey. Are you kidding me?
Well, but I think that that's the other side of that argument. So the beautiful thing about 50 Shades of Grey is how many people read that book and were inspired to actually seek out decent situations that were kinky or that verged on kink that they wouldn't have done otherwise. Probably a lot. Probably that opened, you hear that a lot from people who read BDSM erotica. Oh, well, I started with 50 Shades. So I think that is my argument against censorship. Like, you might luck into stumbling on something that, while it was not a perfect representation of anything, and she did not intend for that to be used as a BDSM manual, it forces you to confront things that you wouldn't have confronted in yourself and look for other things like it. So I believe in distribution.
My fun in life is always to be the devil's advocate. So I ask questions and I say things to trigger answers like that. That's my fun in life. So,
you're a pervert.
I am.
That's a kink. That's a personal kink of yours. They haven't banned it on Amazon yet, though. I like manipulating situations to get people to say certain things. That's not been banned.
Yes. Yeah. And okay, where was I now? I lost my thought. I was going somewhere with all that. I just lost it.
Well, should we talk about how this affects people who do not necessarily read or write the things that are today being banned?
Yes. What do you mean?
Well, even beyond the old argument that they're not coming for you today, but they might be coming for you tomorrow, is that, they're actually, I guess it is that argument. Like, what they're looking for today is obvious BDSM and pseudo-incest. But it could be something else tomorrow. It could be violence. It could be war. It could be any number of things that people write or read and deem and consider very safe to read and write. So I think that's... I don't think if you're a reader or a writer, you should never lose sight of it may be you next. And that's why this is an issue for the whole community.
Wow. This is scary. This is really not. Yeah,
So don't leave your house. Hide in your bed. Don't read or write anything ever.
Wow. So writers never know when their stuff is going to be put out. Is that what you mean? Is that you spend like months writing a book and you never know when it's going to be put out?
Well, I think it's more that just because today you're not writing something that Amazon refuses to carry doesn't mean you're safe, or that you should write it off as an erotica reader or an erotica writer's problem. I think it's a problem for everyone when, and this is not, some of it is, you know what, Amazon doesn't like naked women with their hands over their breasts. Is that fair? No. But you know what, life's not fucking fair. We know this about Amazon, so if you don't want your book pulled because of that, do a different cover. To me, that's like a no-brainer. It's not fair, but I don't care. I'm not going to do that because I don't want my books pulled. But I think that the more creepy stuff is when they pull a book, they give you no reason why, and they take it completely away so that you can't do anything but republish it, hoping that you changed whatever triggered them to pull it in the first place. So that's a little bit creepier to me. The stuff that we kind of can get around, like, okay, so either change your title, because that's why they pulled a book, or don't change your title and pull the book and market it as a book that's been banned on Amazon, which I think is a very valid alternative.
That's what Brad did, because he said that even if he changed the title, his book was permanently banned. He could not just do that.
Okay.
They have some algorithms that can find. He could have changed something, changed his name, but he said they would have recognized it as the same book eventually.
Right. So that works for some people and not for others, and I think it might be against the terms of service, though even that is a little bit. Sometimes the letter they send out is, you can change what we didn't like and didn't explain, and then republish, or you're just banned. So there's a couple of variations on it, and I think it might even depend on who is the person in the admin who's doing it. You know, it's not a nameless, faceless computer. There are people back there.
So his books were definitely banned without recourse.
And I hope he makes $1 million off that.
I think he did. Okay, for the sake of disclosure, I'm not an Amazon client. Okay, people who know me know how much I hate Amazon. So, is Amazon setting the laws for all the other platforms?
No, everybody's doing it.
Everybody's doing it, not regarding if Amazon is doing it or not. Are they following Amazon, or are they coming to the same conclusions on themselves?
Well, if you're talking about U.S.-based businesses, I'm going to not go out on a limb here. I'm going to speak as a U.S. born and bred citizen and say that they're going to err on the side of prudishness.
Oh.
So Kobo, I don't know. Kobo is your people, so you can explain to us why Kobo keeps pulling some shit. But I know that I tried to get a romance novel into iTunes, the iTunes store through Draft to Digital the other day, and they shelved it as erotica. And I wrote back going, "This is not. There's 2 sex scenes in this book. Do not shelve this with erotica. The erotica people will hate you. No, they'll hate me." And he was like, "No, it has BDSM themes, so it must be erotica." Well, like, it's really not. So, I could forward you the complaints from people who want more sex and more explicit content. But so I think that that's, you know,
the thing that happened with Kobo, by the way, was with Kobo UK.
Well, Yeah, but they pulled titles from everywhere, right?
Yes,
So
because
that's management
yeah.
decision right there, my friend.
Oh yes, and I talked to somebody in Kobo, Canada, and he said there was a panic. They wanted to do damage control fast, and then they began putting back some of the books that were pulled out for no reason.
Right. Well, and that's, I mean, panic is a very real thing. I think ARE used to be a place where you could find a lot of stuff you couldn't find other places, and then PayPal wigged out, which is a backstory that I have not done any research in. But I know that the PayPal, some dude in the high ups of PayPal was just horrified that his service was being used for smutty pornographic things. Heaven forbid.
But they back on ARE. I use PayPal when I buy on ARE, and I wanted to talk about them because there's some very special porn that's being published there. It's pretty much where I buy all my porn these days because the censorship is lower.
Or I think that it's actually more audience. I think it's audience cultivation. So on Amazon, you have people who are looking for blenders and buying cereal, who may also be shopping for books. On ARE, you're far more likely to have people who are just shopping for books or books that they're kind of edgy. ARE, for anyone watching this who doesn't know, is all romance ebooks, and if you have taboo tastes, you should be shopping with them.
Yes, because there's pretty much everything for everybody there.
We don't want this to be taken. It's not a free-for-all because
No. It's a very serious place, and they have some kind of censorship for the things that are illegal. But they accept like mind play.
Mind control. That's right. I forgot about mind control.
No, I mean if somebody pretends to be 14, they will accept it because it's play. Right. If somebody is an adult and pretends to be 12, they will accept it, but that's something Amazon will not accept because it's supposed to be illegal. The fantasy should not be legal.
That's right. That's right. Heaven forbid. If that is your fantasy, you are a very bad person. Yeah. I mean, and I think that is, there are pedophiles who are actual pedophiles who do not act on their impulses, and really can't talk about it because we have this idea that anything that happens in your head is automatically what you are. I'm sure someone could write a dissertation about why that is such a powerful belief. But believe me, I mean, if everything that happened in my head was who I was, I really would be illegal. But that's not true. That's like a superpower. Fantasies are a superpower, I think, is why this is so annoying to me. Fantasies are a superpower. You can do and be whoever the hell you want, and I know that because I play with my imaginary friends as a way to make money.
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it. Yeah, and ARE, I read a story, another example, I read a story of some guy, his boyfriend pretended to be a dog. Oof. So it's fantasy. It's not considered bestiality. Try that on Amazon. It would be considered bestiality, even if it happens only in people's head. Why are they so prudish about our fantasies?
Because their audience is not people who believe in fantasy. Some is, but it's a very small part of their audience.
This is so sad.
I don't know. I guess I find it worrying, but people are pretty sad. Like, if I could just wave a magic wand and like tap people at the Walmart who are like looking for the Christian romance books at the Walmart, like, and be like, you should read whatever you want. That would be cool, but that's not, those are the people who have like their like cooking magazine with their 50 Shades of Grey on the inside, so that it doesn't look like 50 Shades of Grey. But people, everybody's got their own journey, and a lot of people will remain very, very repressed for most of their journey, which would make me sad if I thought about it, but I don't.
Like you said, okay, I'm not judging people. I'm not everything for everybody. I'm like a live and let live kind of a woman, but still, it's sad that people are afraid of what's in their head. You there?
I'm here. I'm thinking. I mean, I guess I'm terrified of what lives in my head, but that's why I write it down. And people are helpful. You are helpful to me because you like what lives in my head. So that makes me less afraid. But I mean, that's a personal journey not everybody wants to take, Lucy. Not everybody wants to go there.
I think I'm even sadder now. Oh my! This is some.
Your daily dose of depression, brought to you by Smut and Porn.
Wow. No. Okay. I had no idea that was so hard. Being a writer out there, and you just revealed me something. Yeah. Yeah. You knocked me on my butt.
Well, that's possibly why I don't have sympathy for people. Because it's a hard fucking... Everybody's road is a hard road. So you take it however you take it, but your road has been hard and you take it. Somebody who wants to repress their shit, okay, that's a hard road too. It's just not a road that either you or I have chosen to travel. And it is a choice.
Wow. Okay. Okay. I'm just blown away. And it's so sad. It's wow. Okay. I'm blown away. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that being a writer could be so lonely, could be so scary. Wow. Okay. Like you said, that's your minute of of deep thinking of smut and porn. Okay. So apart from having a site that would be open to really kind of taboo, there's not much that can be done to get access to that kind of reading.
Well, I think from a reader standpoint, you can, I guess, always email authors and ask them where they have their books and other ways that you can buy them, because I think that the other thing that I think about is trying to sell direct using some method on my website or something like that that would at least leave me in more control. And if nothing else, emailing a writer to say, hey, I really like this thing that you wrote could, mean they write the next one. So if you really like something that someone wrote that they can't get on Amazon, or they can only get an Amazon and Barnes & Noble and iTunes and Kobo because they've used really special language to describe it, let them know that you like that. Because that's how we continue writing. I mean, I guess that is the part that gets scary to me. Is like, well, I don't know. I guess I would think twice about writing something if I thought it was going to be a huge pain in my ass to publish it. But so far, that hasn't happened. I don't know. I'm also a stubborn asshole, so I might write it anyway.
Yeah, and that's true what you say, because when I reach to a writer that I really like, I don't do that often. I will leave review often, but sometimes, like I did for you, I reach to you to say, "Wow, you're a good writer. I love what you do," and sometimes I have the surprise that an author will send me something that was never published because he or she knows it would be censored. So they
Exactly.
say, "You like my stuff? Enjoy this one." That's a special one for the special readers.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that I guess more than anything, authors and readers have to be able to connect, and we have a lot of ways of doing that, but we're not always. I know that authors are not always good at saying like, contact me in these ways, but I think that that's what will keep the part of this that is truly a creative art alive. The people who are writing tentacle porn because that is the shit that lives in their head and they have to write it, like, those people need a little love if that shit is being yanked off of all of their retailers. So that's, I think, a good takeaway for everybody. And I don't think there are many writers who are not also readers, so that certainly works for us as well.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. So, have we completed a decent tour enough of the subject?
And we've ended on a slightly higher note. We did not end suicidally depressed. So that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we can reach you at krisripper.com.
Correct.
You can reach me at publibris.com. There will be something in the notes on YouTube. So thank you for watching. If you have ideas for topics you want to be discussed, or if you want to join as a guest, if you're a writer or a devoted reader, that would be fun. Thank you, Kris.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.